Hello everyone and welcome to my October paper pumpkin video. My box has just arrived. Let's see what's inside this month. And while I open this, I want to say thanks to everybody. Where's the end? Thanks to everybody that signed up for the month of October. Remember that October and November are going to be coordinating. Look what's in the cover. This is so neat. It's Christmas in October with paper pumpkins. Skip to the front. Now, the November kit is going to coordinate with the October kit, so I can't wait to see what's in store for next month. Let me get a white sheet of paper just so I can put the stamp set on here so you can see what is in it this month. Have a joyful Christmas and New Year. Season's greetings. Happiest of holidays to you. Glad tidings of joy, and there's a couple snowflakes. This month the stamping spot is cherry cobbler. And it looks like we're going to be creating shaker cards. Everybody loves shaker cards. I know I do. And this is called Pining for Plaid. So let's see what's inside. Oh, these are going to be quite easy to make because the shaker shapes, these are foam. They're self-adhesive strips. These are removable and going to go right under the window sheets, which I'm assuming are in here. Glue dots. And we always have instructions also. Now let's see. Oh, this is pretty paper for the card base. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shaker cards. These are the sequins. These are like little star shaped. They're so cute. And then we've got the envelopes with the coordinating pattern on the inside. Some gold foil layers. Here are the window sheets. It looks like there's 2 sizes, so we'll find out what that's all about. Here's some white banners. These are the front of the card, so these are going to pop out, and then these, like I said, these foam shapes are going to go underneath so we can put the window sheets in place. Then you have some that are pre-printed. This one is actually an ornament with a pine branch. Let's see what else there is. So there's 4 of those, I believe. These are just plain white. I don't know if you can tell, but they have a little bit of texture to them. It's an embossed. I'm trying to think what it looks like. Almost like a little crosses going all the way across. And then the backgrounds, we have some with snowflakes and some with some gorgeous trees. So let's put this aside and we'll create one of each card. So now that I've examined my kit a little more closely, there's actually only 2 card designs, 5 of each. So 5 with the pine branches and 5 with the plain background with the trees. So let's start out with the pine branch. So you're going to need one of the little snowflake layers along with the one with the ornament cut out. I'm going to need a card base, and I'm going to bring in my large cherry cobbler ink pad, and I'm going to stamp the happiest of holidays to you, and that goes right in the center. And then we're going to bring in a window sheet, and you're going to need one of each. There's one that's a little smaller than the other. I'm going to flip this over. And this is where you're going to bring in your glue dots. We're going to stick this to the back of the hole that's already pre-cut. And make sure you just add glue dots on the edges because you don't want them to show through the pre-cut hole. So I'm going to put 3 on each side just like that. And I'm going to peel the backing and just lay it flat over the pre-cut hole. Okay, one more. So now let's bring that in, place it over the hole. And then you're going to bring in one of these little foam circles, and you'll see there's quite a few different sizes there. I'm going to peel the one that's on the inside. There's 3 different sizes. And then we're going to glue this around the circle. Just make sure it doesn't peek through to the front when you lay it in place. It doesn't matter how perfect it is, it's going to be covered anyway. So maybe just look to make sure you don't see through it. Then you're going to bring in the sequins. And we're going to add a little pinch of each of the 3 bags. So there's that's a pretty color too. It's like an aqua. Bermuda Bay maybe. Add a few of the white. And then we'll add a few of the little stars. Now I don't have this perfectly straight, so I need to remember that this side is a little higher. Hopefully I'll do this right. Press it down. And there we go. Isn't that cute? So now all we have left to do is glue this. Now because you have the height here in the middle, you need to add some height to your 3 sides. And that's what these little pieces are for. Because you want everything to be the same height so that when you glue it in place, you won't have any warping. Now this one I'm going to have to cut a little bit. Get my scissors. Okay, now everything is the same height, so we're good to go. So we just need to peel the backing. And I'm going to bring my snail adhesive in just so I can quickly glue this in place. This is where you would add your glue dots. I'm going to add this to the front. And that's it for card number 1. Isn't that cute? Now let's move on to card number 2. Now the window on this one is a little bit larger. Make sure the embossing is face down. And again, we're going to add glue dots to the window sheet. Make sure you put them right on the edge so they don't show through again. This is a great kit to bring with you if you're traveling, because everything's in here. Okay, now we're going to peel the backing. These glue dots peel pretty well if you have nails. For those of you that don't have nails, probably a paper piercer would help you. Okay, so now we're going to glue this in place. Now this time, this is a bigger circle, so we're going to use the foam on the outside. Again, place that, flip it over and peek to make sure it's not showing through the window, and it's not. Now we need to add our sequins. So for those of you that are in a time crunch for Christmas cards, these are quick and easy. Here's a star. And I'm hoping we have maybe tags next month to coordinate with the cards. I'm not sure. We haven't been told yet what's coming. Okay, I'm going to peel the backing. And it looks like the top of the circle there's a little less space. So the top is right there. Press that in place. Now for this one, we're using the banner. So I'm going to bring in the smaller stamp. I'm going to do the season's greetings. And I'm going to glue that in place with the glue dots. I'm going to add 3 of them. I'm not sure if it's easier to put them on the gold foil or the sentiment layer first. This works pretty well. And I'm going to add 3 more to the back of on the white side of it. Ah, that one stuck to my nail. I'm into week 3 with my cold, by the way, so my voice is still a little strained. Now this is going to go right here. Make sure it's nice and straight. And for this one, I'm just going to add a piece of foam right here. And then we'll add some snail to the larger area. And bring in the second card base. Okay, so these are the 2 cards, the way that the kit instructs you to make them. And of course, I'm going to show you some alternative ideas. So let me clean up my area and I'll be right back. For my first alternative card, I have a piece of Whisper White measuring 11 by 4 1/4 and scored in half at 5 1/2. I've taken one of the card bases and cut it in half. And this one measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I'm going to show you what I did. Now this is going to go right here. I took my largest of the layering circles and I cut a circle out of the center. This is a way of saving this for something else. The reason I did that is because this is such pretty paper and I want to save as much of it as I can, because my next layer is gold foil and it's going to cover that circle. Nobody even knows that that circle has been cut out. Now the gold foil sheet measures 3 3/4 by 5. And then I took this and cut off on the top and on the side so that this now measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So let's get this stuff all glued down. I'm going to use my snail just to save time. But you can do this with the glue dots. Okay, again, nobody's going to know that we cut this circle out. Let me use my bone folder first. And then we're going to glue down the gold foil. Now I've gone ahead and glued the gold foil. I had to cut out part of my video because as I was gluing it down, I sneezed. And I did not want you to see that on my video. So now I'm going to glue the pre-printed layer on. So we now have 4 layers. And I'm going to bring in the small banner. And on this one, I'm going to stamp Glad Tidings of Joy. Now this I'm going to glue down with Stamping Dimensionals. I'm going to add 2. Probably should have used the mini. I forget to use my mini dimensionals. Now, if you'll notice, the ornament is now gold because of the gold foil that's sitting behind it. It's not quite in the middle. And lastly, I'm going to bring in 3 of the white sequins and glue them on in the background. So I'm just pressing those into my glue dots. Normally I would use the sheet. Okay, and that's card number 1. Isn't that cute? So now let's move on to card number 2. Card number 2, I've gone ahead and I thought that this color looked more like the pool party. It's pretty close. So I've gone ahead and cut a piece again, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. This is also another card base cut in half, and it measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and that's going to go on the front. And this is exactly how it came with the kit. I didn't cut it this time. And let's go ahead and glue so I can explain what I'll do next. So this will be layer number 2. So you can actually make these card bases stretch quite a bit by cutting them in half. Now I'm going to use the circle that we cut in card number 1. It's a little bit bigger than the hole, so we're just going to have a larger ornament. And I want a little bit of the white to show on the bottom. So we're going to cover a little bit more of the gold at the top, but that's fine. It still looks like an ornament. And now I'm going to bring in the 2 1/4 circle punch and add as much of the trees as I can. And we're going to add that to the ornament. Okay, and that's going to go right there. Now I've gone ahead and created a small bow with the Island Indigo ombre ribbon. It looks, the lighter shade of it looks pretty much like the pool party. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that. I added a glue dot in the middle, and then I always add a little bit of liquid glue just to make sure it's not going to come off. And I'm going to add that right at the top of my ornament. And then I'm going to bring in a couple of the little gold stars. These are really tiny. See if I can get a third one. And maybe I just want 2. It looks like I'm going to put them at the top of my trees. There's 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm just going to go with the 2. And I feel that that's enough for this card. Another cute card. I hope you like it so far. Let's keep going. Actually, I forgot to add a sentiment to this one. So I'm going to bring in the season's greetings, and I'm going to stamp that right over the trees. There, that looks better. Card number 3, I am using the card base that came with the kit. I've taken one of the tree images and I've cut off a 1/2 inch at the top and a 1/2 inch at the sides just to make it a little smaller. a piece of gold foil measuring 1 inch by 5.5, and a piece of Pool Party 1 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. I've gone ahead and stamped the Glad Tidings of Joy with Pool Party ink on the white banner. And then I used the little snowflake images, stamped 2 of the larger one and 1 of the smaller one with Pool Party ink. I cut them out using the 3/4 punch and the 1/2 inch punch, and then I glued a little gold star in the center of each one. So let's see how we can glue this down. I did have this one ready ahead of time, so I have it in my head how this is going to come together. So I'm going to glue this off to the left-hand side. The gold strip is going to butt up against it. And then we're going to glue this pre-printed layer. And that's going to go in the center. And I'm trying to make sure I leave some Pool Party showing. Now I'm going to add these. The 2 little ones or the 2 larger ones I'm going to glue flat. Excuse me. And then the smaller one, I'm going to add a mini stamping dimensional. That's going to go right there. And I'm also going to add mini dimensionals to the sentiment. These were from a previous paper pumpkin. Make sure you hold on to those because you never know when you're going to use them. And this is going to go, now I had this planned a little bit lower. Oops. And this is going to go right here. Okay, and that's card number 3. So let's review just a little bit. These 2 cards were made according to the kit instructions. And then I've added 3 non-shaker cards, one with a gold ornament, one with a plaid ornament, and then this one with the tree images. So now let's see what else we can do with the shaker cards, because I know you guys all like shaker cards. For card number 4, I'm actually going to show you how to create an easel card. You're going to need 1 card base. You're going to need a layer that measures 2 1/8 by 5.5. And then we're going to use the pre-printed tree image, the window sheet. And I've gone ahead and, hold on a minute so I can show you what I did. I've taken this layer and cut it down to be perfectly square, and that measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I kind of just eyeballed over here to make it the same distance. If you want to measure, go ahead. But once I have this portion cut off, then I measured 3 3/4. So that made a perfectly square layer. And what you need to do with the card base is we need this to be flat on the front. And as an easel card folds this way. So what I did here is I scored, this is already scored at 5.5. I scored again at 2 1/8. Okay, so you need to score that at 2 1/8. And then you're going to fold this way and this way because the easel card has to sit this way. And make sure you use the bone folder to get a really nice fold on both of these. And then we're going to use the snail and the piece that measures 2 1/8 by 5.5. So this is turned upside down and you're gluing it to the end piece, the one that's scored. This is going to be even on all 4 sides. Okay, so now your plaid is back towards the front, which is what we want. It doesn't matter that it's white on the back side because you don't see that side. So let's set this aside for now. Flip this over to the reverse side. And we're going to glue the window sheet first. I'm trying to use my glue dots as much as I can because I know some of you only buy the kits and you probably just have the adhesive that comes with the kits. For me, it's a little slower because I like to just plow ahead and get this done. Okay, now I'm going to remove the backing. I'm going to try to move this one over. I think it's not on the edge enough. Excuse me. Okay, now we're going to set this down. Bring in the foam circle. Press it in place. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Flip it over to make sure it's not showing anywhere, which it's not. I do have a little bit of my glue dot here though. Looks like it's on the underside. Okay. Next, our little sequins. Little stars. And what I now call pool party. And maybe those are in the directions that does say that it's pool party, but of course I haven't read them yet. Now we're going to put this on here nice and neat because you are going to see this on the back side. Okay. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to glue this to the front of the card like this. So I want to leave a little bit of plaid showing on the bottom, so I'm not going to go quite to the halfway mark, and I'm going to use liquid glue on this one. The glue dots would work as well. So again, this has movement, so you don't want to glue the upper portion of that layer. I'm just going to press this in place for a little bit. Okay, see how that works? Now we're going to do the banner. And I think I'm going to use the Pool Party ink for this one. So we're going to stamp the banner. And I'm actually going to be using this banner as the stopper. And if you've never created an easel card before, I'll show you what a stopper is. So I've added the mini dimensionals under the sentiment. And I'm also going to add a layer under the gold banner. I think I'll put 3 on that one. Now a stopper, see, this card won't stay up by itself, so you have to add something to the front so that it'll keep it in place. So let me remove the glue dot backing, or the dimensional backing. And then this is where you decide how high you want this to sit. Now I want it to sit about there. So I'm going to glue this And see how that stops it. Now I think I'm also going to add some of the pool party sequins to the front layer. So I'll bring in my glue dots. And I'm, whoops, just going to add a few to the background. Now, you know something else I could have done before I did all this? I could have added a few of the snowflakes. That would have been really cute. I didn't think of that. Okay, whoops. So there's your easel card. And you'll be able to see what it looks like more when I post all the pictures. So there's another variation of the shaker card. As you know, all good things must come to an end. So this will be my last card. We're going to create a shaker card again. Now what I did with this layer is I cut off 1/4 inch on the top, and on the left hand side I have a piece of pool party cardstock measuring 3 by 3. And then one of the card bases, and this measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. This is all going to be for the inside of the card, and we are going to need this for the outside. Now, what I've done on this one, instead of folding it on the score line, I scored at 2 1/8, flipped it over and scored at 2 1/8, and we're going to make a gatefold card, so it folds this way instead. I've gone ahead and cut this. This is just one of the die cuts with a circle in the middle, and this actually measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I just kind of eyeballed one side and then made sure that the other side was close and that it measured 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then I've gone ahead and added the glue dots to the window sheet. So we are going to create one last shaker card. Let me do the banner first. I'm going to use the Glad Tidings of Joy on this one. So let's go ahead and do the shaker portion. So I'm going to remove the backing. I'm going to show you after making all of these cards what I've got left here. Of course, you all know that I am part of the Paper Pumpkin Gurus team. We make, we're all demonstrators, and we all make a project that only goes to our subscribers. We have project sheets, and we send, I would say between 12 to 14 projects each month go to just our subscribers. So I do have to keep some pieces of my kit for that project, and that's something that nobody else but our subscribers see. Okay, so I've gone ahead and assembled the window sheet, and we'll go ahead and add some of the sequins. I love this color so much. And the stars. And I'm going to remove the backing. I thought I removed it already. I'm going to press this in place. Okay, so that's the shaker. Oops, I got a clump in the middle. There we go. Now I'm going to add some glue dots to the banner. And again, we glued only half of one of the layers for the easel card. We're going to do the same thing on this one, on the gatefold, so that this one side will remain free so it can open. Okay, this is going to go on the gold foil. I've cheated and gone ahead and added glue dots to this already, so you don't have to watch that part. I'm going to put this down here. Okay, now I'm going to bring this in. So this is going to fit on the front like this, and I'm going to put it off center a little bit higher. So I'll bring in the snail. And I'm only going half. I like to put a lot of glue when there's movement on the card, just so it doesn't fall apart. Okay, so now you can see this is glued to just half, so it does still open. Now we'll add the plaid to the center. The reason I'm doing this is so it will cover most of this score line, so it won't be visible. Now for this piece, before I glue it in place, I'm going to bring in the Pool Party ink, and I'm going to stamp some snowflakes just to fill in the background. Then we'll flip it over and do the small one. I do have both on one block just to make it easy. Okay, now I'm going to glue this in place. And all I'm doing with this is adding color to my ornament. Okay, and I did have to move it over for the glue, so let me trim what's sticking out. And then I'm going to bring in one of the large sentiments. This one says, "Have a joyful Christmas and New Year." I'm going to put that right in the middle of my ornament. See how cute that is? And then we're going to glue that to the inside of the card. So no bling on this one because we want to keep it nice and flat. Okay, so you got the outside of the card and the inside. And let me see. I should have added some snowflakes to that. Okay, let me bring in, I'm going to bring in my bone folder and just put that under to give me something to stamp on. And I'm just going to add a few snowflakes here and there. Now I think this one is okay to stamp. So I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 with the shaker, and then 1, 2, 3 without the shaker. And I have a lot of supplies left over. I still have a card base and some pieces, more pieces. 1, 2, 3. Look at all the banners. So I can still make a lot of cards, and you'll probably see a couple extra ones on my blog when I post this. Oops, I've got one more card base here too. And for those of you that subscribe with me, you'll receive a newsletter that I send every month. And we just found out today also that if you missed out on this kit, you can still order the kit. But what you need to do first is sign up for Paper Pumpkin, and you can go right to my Paper Pumpkin store. Once you sign up on October 23rd, and just remember that this is while supplies last, these kits, all of this, it'll not be a refill kit this month. It'll be a full kit, so you'll receive everything like I did in the box. And you will be able to order that kit on October 23rd. So you'll have both coordinating kits together. If you have any questions, make sure you contact me. And thanks for stopping by today.